Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do an updated character guide on Dorgann. Now I do already have a forced character guide on Dorgann, but he is getting a new BT here. He's getting Echo, so I think it is worth it to kind of go back in on him and see how his damage is looking after his upgrades, right? So if you're not familiar with Dorgann, he is a really good counter character. He's a character that counters on a condition, but the trade-off is that his counters are more powerful, I would say, than the average counter character. So Dorgann only counters when enemies are broken. Now, there are a lot of ways to really abuse this. If you're running Dorgann just on like a normal team setup, not trying to maximize it, I would say you're probably better off with another off-turn damage dealer that's just going to do their thing normally. But if you have Dorgann's BT, or you're going to run him with like characters that abuse him, then he's actually really top tier for off-turn damage, right? So in this video, we're going to look at his calls, his artifacts, and his spheres, and then we'll just jump into a little showcase and take a look at how my guy is looking, right? So let's go ahead and start with the calls. So basically on either call, he is going to put a debuff down, which is going to Wind in Peril and do a defense down. Not really anything too crazy there, right? The one thing on Spellblade Break, it's pretty much just an attack, but it does do instant break. So if you need instant break like on demand with the call, sure, could be solid for that, right? And then the LD, it's going to do an attack, brave damage up, HP damage up, and overflow stolen up to the calling member. Now, because this has HP damage up on it, I do think it has some value. But I would prefer an HP damage up that like the party can utilize. So I would rather something that puts like a debuff on the enemies that makes you deal more HP damage, because then the rest of the party can abuse that. But I suppose if you're desperate, like you could put this on your main damage dealer, give them some nice buffs, including an HP damage up. You could definitely get something out of it, but I don't really regard this as like a top tier call, right? But definitely something you could use. It's something you sit in your back pocket, right? Let's look at Dorgann himself here. Let's look at his artifacts. So for his artifacts, you want Attack 108 and Spellblade Break Power. So this is what you want, 3 of these. So you're going to get the attack up, and then you're going to get Brave Damage dealt with Spellblade. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Hold on. That's not the right one. It's, oh, so I really don't have his built up. Well, hold on. Let me just double check here one more time. Yeah, because yeah, we want this warrior one. Okay, I mistook the name on that. So we want warrior protecting the seal up. So I actually got to grind some of these because I do not have them maxed out. So you do want attack 108, but you want warrior protecting the seal up, which is going to be a max brave and attack up for Dorgann. Because Dorgann's doing a lot of off-turn damage, he's going to be dealing a lot of brave hits, and you want to do a lot of brave damage with his attack. So this is definitely like an offensive build character. I think literally the first time I built him, I thought Spellblade Break Power was like the C50 passive, but that's just like his attack. So no, I think I actually grabbed the wrong ones the first time I was doing his artifacts. But yeah, attack 108, and then you want the warrior protecting the seal up. So I definitely have a ton of artifact material. We'll regrind those later on, but we won't do it now because we're in the middle of the video, right? All right. Then on spheres. You just want A spheres that are going to be attack or brave damage, right? For sure. Dorgann's own is actually pretty solid because it is a brave damage up, and then you get max brave up. I think either like so you either want brave damage or attack, or combinations that would have like attack and max brave, attack and brave damage, or brave damage and max brave. I think any of those combos are going to be fine. The spheres that trigger on break or attacking a broken target, those are really good ones for Dorgann because it's going to be constant, it's going to be nonstop, right? Rydia is actually a really nice one for him because that one is attack and brave damage. So it's like comboing like probably the 2 best stats you would want. Weakness damage trigger. Dorgann does wind damage and he imperils, so he's going to always have weakness damage. So Rydia, I think, might be best in slot here, to be honest. If you had like 2 full Rydias that you could stack, that would be really, really good on him. Then the E slot, I'm sorry. This is a premier character for Vanille Sphere. Now, there are people that are haters on Vanille Sphere that don't like it, and if you're one of those people, you don't have to use it. I would say if you're more of a traditional player, go with like a Yuffie or something that's going to give attack up. That's probably what you'd want here. But I feel like being that this character is going to be breaking like all the freaking time, Vanille is just too good not to use. On any character that does a lot of breaking, I love Vanille Sphere. Anytime you break, you dispel a buff off the enemies, which can be very valuable in some fights. So I just love adding that extra utility to a character when I can, that it works well with, right? So like Dorgann and like Aranea, to me, I think Aranea is one of the best characters in the game to hold it. Vayne is also very good. He's just not in the meta right now. I think Noel can be good with it. Well, I don't know if Noel has an E slot, but if he did, he'd be a good one because he's a character that breaks a lot. But off the top of my head, like Aranea and Vayne are both E slots that have that. Very good characters to throw that on. All right, so with that, let's just hop into the showcase and see how my guy is doing. Now, let me see here. If I can find a Dorgann on the friends list. I don't know if they're gonna pop, if he's gonna pop up. Might not. I'm not seeing it. I am not seeing it. So we'll just grab Will-O-Wisp selfie. Sure, we'll grab that. So I do not have the BT effect for Dorgann, but we will explain it as we go through. So let's just go ahead and hop in. Now, we are going to specifically run Dorgann with Sephiroth just to really show how you can abuse his effect with the Sephiroth BT, right? All right, so we're going to hop in right away here. Let's see here. And I did bring a Fujin Call just for like when I do Dorgann FR, we can have that on a little bit to do some Wind Enchant. Because Dorgann, I believe, only is going to party Wind Enchant with his BT, which I do not have. So Dorgann, we'll just start showing off skills. So once again, the big thing you need to know, and this comes from his LD buff, is that he will basically do follow-up attacks anytime an enemy is broken, right? So what we're going to do is if you have two unbroken targets like this, you want to try to do single target if possible. So we're going to do Starlit Abandon, which is the 15. So we're going to hit that. Because this should be single on the Brave damage. Yep. And then Image Slashes his follow-up. Now when his follow-up breaks, he's going to do it again. So he can double follow-up, and you're seeing about 500k damage for each follow-up. Now, on a normal follow-up, without FR time, 500k is actually a lot. And when he's doing that twice, he just did 1,000,000 damage off turn. And that can happen like every freaking turn, right? So now Aerith is up. So Aerith, sure, let's throw the AA on. And then what I'm going to do is we can hit, we're going to hit the Rydia Call. Now, even the calls will trigger it, right? So this call is going to break. Dorgann's going to follow up on this. Anytime an enemy is broken, he does not discriminate. He will follow up. So this is his thing. We should probably talk about the follow-up because he's already doing it a bunch. But it is basically just like a wind damage, AoE damage attack, right? So it's going to be wind damage. It's going to be AoE brave damage. He does brave gain in between each one, right? So very, very good. So back to Aerith, we will BT effect. And then we'll get Sephiroth. We're just going to roll in with this BT effect like immediately, right? And then go crazy. And then Aerith will probably ramp into a Dorgann FR. We'll get the Fujin Call down and just kind of see him operating like what he would look like. Just know that like Dorgann kind of has two variants, right? There's non-BT Dorgann, which I'm running here, and there's BT Dorgann. Both versions of Dorgann are very good. But the non-BT Dorgann, you have to like team, you got to do a little bit more team setup and like set him up properly. BT Dorgann is a lot more effortless. Like if you have BT Dorgann, he takes care of the wind enchant that you need if you're running his FR, and he takes care of the breaking because he's just going to make it so everybody breaks, which is really good, right? So sure, we'll throw the AA on. And actually, while I have it, let's just grab this selfie really quick. And we're just going to wall out for some free force gauge charging. We'll just take care of this while we got it. I'm not going to worry about putting launching on. This isn't a damage test. Characters like Dorgann are kind of hard to damage test anyways, because like the way you would use Dorgann is you would actually use a different damage dealer and let his off turn kind of pop off during their burst phase to really get the most damage. Now, we could damage test him just with him operating his own burst phase, sure. But really, as an off turn character, he's a character that you want him to be like your slot 3 character. And you want him just to sit there and do all the off turn to help you out, right? All right, so let's go ahead. We are going to get the Sephiroth BT effect rolling. So if you're not familiar with Sephiroth's BT effect, it makes it so after every turn, no matter whose it is, after every action, I should say, the enemy's Brave is always resetting to 1. So if they're broken, they will unbreak and go to 1. If they have max Brave, they're going to go down to 1. It's a very good, it's one of the best BT effects in the game. I've loved Sephiroth's BT effect. Alright, so Dorgann following up there, and then look, the enemies just chill at 1 Brave. So now we're in a state where the enemies are just constantly breakable, right? Oh, and I should probably finish talking about his 15 that we did, right? So the reason why I did the 35 attack there, I should say, not the 15, Starlit Abandon, I did it because it was single target Brave damage, right? And even in this situation with Sephiroth, you want to do as much single target as possible to get the double follow-ups. And then he gets a buff called Will of Precious Memories with that, which is an attack and max Brave up, Overflow Stolen up. It is going to Wind Enchant himself and give himself some HP damage up. So you definitely want to upkeep that. Now I'm going to use the 15, which is AoE. You normally, if you could avoid it, would want to do single target here. But for the showcase, I want to show off all of the skills, right? So let's do Spellblade Break. Okay. You know, 700k, like the on-turn damage is not the craziest, but you don't expect that. It's all the off-turn, right? And now with more BT effects up, I just saw 680k there. So now we're talking on a double counter turn. He's doing 1.2 mil without a force gauge. And that's going to go up if you have his BT effect up as well. So his off-turn is actually like really crazy. The other thing with Spellblade Break, it is an auto break. So it will auto break even if they're unbroken. So it is a good way to trigger. So like if you're not running Sephiroth and both enemies are unbroken, it is a good button to press to guarantee you're going to get a follow-up from them. And then it puts the Dawn Spellblade debuff down, which is just a win in peril with the defense down. That's the one I talked about on the call, right? Aerith now, we want her to ramp up a bit. And the enemies here are definitely going to get the force time before me, but once again, their force condition, the reason I like this fight, it doesn't really mess with me. You know, he's going to do the Grand Cross, but I've got Rydia Call, which should protect me, right? Alright, I probably should have just done an attack there. I didn't need to ramp again. We were basically there, but that's fine. So yeah, this shouldn't damage me. They should get a big fat miss here, yep. We take those big fat misses for sure. Alright, so now back to Aerith. We got BT effect up. We got everything we want. I think her Fury Brand is single target, so we will definitely try it. So let's go and try it. I think this is single target Brave damage. So hopefully this will give us a double. Yep, single target. And then this is what you want, right? Dorgann's going to swoop in. Bam, get the break. And then he's going to swoop in again. Yeah, dude, these 600k off turns are feeling really nice and heavy right now. Dude, that is a lot of off turn damage. Once again, haven't even scaled with the force time yet, right? Sephiroth, I'm sure we'll just throw it on the LD. I could have done single target there, but that's fine. We did AoE. We'll just take the one follow-up. Because I probably should have, like, Octaslash there. That's probably the button I should have pressed. Aerith again, eh? Sure, we can just, let's just HP attack. And then we'll finally get a Dorgann turn to get the FR up. The other thing that's happening too is when you're breaking nonstop like this, provided the enemies don't have frame turns, it is a great like no boss turn strategy where you're just pushing them back to oblivion, right? So there's a lot to like about these types of setups for sure. So now with Dorgann, I know we haven't done the LD or the EX yet, but I think we got to go into FR. So I am going to pop a Fujin Call as a buffer. This will give us Wind Party Enchant to make his FR look a little bit better. Now, just keep in mind, if you have his BT effect, you won't need to do that. Or you could run him, say, with Bart's if you wanted to. But there are plenty of other FRs you could run with Dorgann. You would not have to run his own. Do like the partnership with Auron there. And then, yeah, about 2 mil. That's pretty standard force damage. Alright, so let's talk about the conditions here. By the way, we're going into Breaktown already. And this is what you'll love to see. Look at that, 25% off turn we just got there. Another, oh, yeah, very, very good. All right, let's talk about this. His FR is pretty nutty, actually, if you have it set up properly. So AoE attack there. He unbreaks after each HP attack. So now he is going to be unbreaking like crazy. Force time effect. So Dorgann will always unbreak. Party instant break versus non-broken enemies. Party HP damage and limit up versus broken enemies, which is very good. And then his HP conditions. If he breaks an enemy on his own turn, it's 20%. Wind Brave damage is 5%, but off turn counts. but Dorgann's off turn specifically gets 25. So it's one of those things where like on turn, you're not going to get like a 70 to 80% like you normally do. But the way these off turn FRs work is you get small ticks, but off turn will trigger them. So the ticks really add up over time, right? Now, this is why Wind Enchant is important, because then your party off turn will be netting you that extra 5%, which if you're running other off turn damage dealers, you want that for sure, right? So Sephiroth here, what I'm going to do, I know I could Echo here, but let's take advantage of the single target, right? So let's hit enemy A with an Octaslash. So once again, single target. So that swing's going to get us 30%, which isn't huge, but it's something. And then we combo the off turn with it. Now we just got another 25 and now another 25. So if you're doing the double Dorgann counters, he's doing 50% to gauge off turn. So yeah, we just got 80 something percent there total. So the off turn really, really adds up with this guy. Hey, well, Aerith will double echo for sure. Now this is where like he won't look as good on a like with an Aerith echo. We're just gonna get the base 80% here, right? Which is why they give these non-damaging forces so much base, because they know so many forces depend on you hitting the enemy. So we'll still take the 80% echoes. It just, once again, shows you how busted Rosa is, because hers doesn't require you attacking the enemy, so you get like 160% on a Rosa. But considering we're getting all the off-turn ticks, we'll definitely take those, right? And then once again, if we're going to fully take advantage of Dorgann, we got to go single target, right? So Fury Brand looks good to me. Now, let's watch. This is at about 400%. Let's see the off-turn damage Dorgann does here. So, remember, we're going to double this, whatever he's doing here. So, dude, that's 3 million AoE, and he's doing it twice. So, he just popped off 6 mil AoE there, off-turn. Pretty ridiculous, actually. With Dorgann... Oh, let's show... Great spot to show off the EX, right? So, final skill, Felling Timber. Let's check it out. Alright, let me go through it quick since I have to select a character here to make sure you guys understand. So, you're going to select an ally, and you can move their turn to be after Dorgann. So, he actually has turn manipulation, right? This is going to unbreak all enemies. It's going to do an AoE attack. He's going to put a debuff called Felling Timber on the enemies. Or Falling Timber, sorry. Well, hold on. I think it's Felling Timber. It is. It's just a misspell here. So Felling Timber is Brave and HP attacks are set to 0. So while this debuff is up, the enemies can't do Brave. Like their Brave and HP attacks are all 0. That's pretty crazy. So we will move. It doesn't really matter. We'll just move Sephiroth up. That's fine. Now this is only a 1-turn debuff. But it's very powerful. So yeah, 5 mil on the EX attack there. We'll take the off turn. We'll take the image slash. You can see how things get pretty out of hand pretty quick, right? Alright, Sephiroth, I know I would want to do single target, but right now it's probably more valuable to echo, give us some more force turns. I mean, we're gonna see how quick we can take out this fight. We are able to take out the fight with Bartz just fine. Dorgann should be able to do it much quicker. Alright, so we'll take the 8 mil there for sure. This will only be one follow-up now, because we broke them both at the same time. Alright, Aerith, we already did your echoes. Aerith, it is worth doing single target, I think. So let's just HP plus. Because the real damage is going to come from Dorgann on these Aerith turns. I mean, Seal Evil will do good damage, but dude, we're up to almost 4 mil now on these ticks. Yeah, 4 mil. So that's about like 8 mil AoE he just did on that turn. Sephiroth, let's echo again. We gotta let Dorgann cook. By the way, let's take a moment to talk about the BT since I don't have it. So the BT, if you're a Dorgann player, you're a fan of this man, right? The BT is a good get for him. So it is an 8-turn burst effect. Well, you know, Dorgann's just gonna autoplay at this point, right? The reason why the burst effect is so good is all allies will unbreak the target after an ability. So essentially, this makes it so you don't even need like the Sephiroth BT effect. Just every party member is going to be unbreaking after everything, so you're going to have the breaks nonstop, right? And then it is going to party Wind Enchant. That is also very important, especially if you're operating through his FR. Brave damage up, HP damage up, Brave damage limit up, HP damage limit up. Those are all the pretty standard BT auras, right? All right, so we still need to do his LD, so we're going to hit that button just because we haven't yet. Linear transmission, third eye strike. Okay, that was 10 mil there, not too bad. Image slash plus. Yeah, he's up to about 5 mil now on his follow-ups. Pretty crazy. So the LD, that will also unbreak all the enemies. AoE attack. He does get a skill use back of skill 1 and skill 2. He gets the third eye buff for 12 turns. The third eye is an attack up, brave damage up, HP damage up, brave stolen up, overflow stolen up. This will unbreak the target after an ability if the enemy has the Dawn Spellblade debuff on. And then it upgrades his image slash to the plus version. So you do want to upkeep that buff for sure on the LD, right? Pretty much, though, you only need to press that to upkeep that. It's not like... and it's like going to be one of his better on-turn damage buttons, I suppose. Aerith, I think we do need to seal evil because I think it wore off. So we will pop it. Because I noticed her HP plus wore out. So yeah, I think it's about time to actually do her AoE attack there. That's fine. So only one image slash here, but Aerith did very good damage on that turn. Alright, Sephiroth, you got another Echo for me? He is out. So I guess we well, we haven't done black material, but that is going to break. So let's hit the Octo Slash on the launch. Get the double follow-ups. The nice thing, too, is like with Sephiroth, like, I think when Dorgann first came out with his FR, right? Like, you could run him with Sephiroth, but at that time, Sephiroth wasn't very meta, so you're kind of just running the BT effect to have it. Now, Sephiroth is actually a top-tier DPS, so this combo is just so nice right now. It's like legit, like, characters you want to use. It's not like we're just trying to make Dorgann work, right? Let's go ahead and Echo. And yeah, we've pretty much seen everything, so at this point, we're just checking out damage. So at full gauge, what, his off turn's going to be what, just about 5 mil or a little bit over? Let's see. Actually, it should be about 6 mil, I would imagine, because he was doing 600k. Whoa, that was 10 mil? Hold on. Or was that wasn't the plus version? Did we? I thought we just used his LD. Did we not just refresh that? Am I crazy? Oh, you know what? Let me just double check here. I wonder if the Dawn Spellblade fell off. That might be it. Yeah, because that went down. We're not getting the plus version. That was only a mil damage. So we got to get the plus version back up. Sephiroth, let's do this. Well, the force gauge is about to run out. But I was so focused on like the character guide and pressing every button. Oh, and we killed him. So anyways, guys, there you go. That's Dorgann. But yeah, I think at full gauge, if you're doing image slash plus, I think you're looking at about 6 mil off turn, which if he's doing that twice, that's 12 mil AoE. That's really good. That's kind of reminding me a little bit of Rex, because Rex does double 10 mils on his turn when you're fully built up. Like, yeah, Dorgann is a really nice off-turn character. Once again, you either need to have his BT or be willing to set up the team comps to get all that off-turn breaking, right? So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this guy. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.